All righty, y'all. Let's get going. Welcome, welcome, welcome to His Safe Space this morning. Thank you all for coming in. I appreciate you coming to be a part of this show this morning. It is His Safe Space Thursday. We always kick off at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I want to really make it known that in this space, it is not about agreeing or disagreeing with the opinions or the life stories of the guests or the people who are speaking in the stream, but it is an opportunity for us to learn and to grow. And so this is absolutely hands down a learning environment where we are intentional about hearing the voices of men to obtain knowledge, wisdom, and understanding as they share their stories. And so we welcome their stories. So listen, the goal is to have healthy discussions centered around topics that both men and women can learn and grow from. So we are very appreciative of the men who are willing to be transparent in this space. And I want to give a huge shout out to the women who helped me create the safe space for these men to thrive. So thank you to us coming together to collaborate to make this happen. Now, if you are interested in being a guest on this show, listen, we want you in this thing, okay? If you are interested in being a guest on the show, please contact me on IG. You may do so by clicking the banner at the top and requesting to follow me on IG. You may also email me at whendocSpeaks, that's DOC, y'all know, whendocSpeaks@gmail.com. And this is serious inquiries only. I do not respond to dating advances because that is a thing. So welcome, welcome, welcome everybody to His Safe Space. Thank you so much for being here, being present. Please know that this is a show, and we want to make sure that there is absolutely in conversation. We don't use profanity or vulgarity. There will be no derogatory comments that we will allow, no disrespect. The bouncers are definitely here, and if that type of behavior is taking place in the comments, hands down, you will be removed from the stream. I want to definitely put emphasis on the reality that in this space we are coming together to have a healthy conversation this morning, and it is about waiting and dating after 35, because that is the thing. That is the thing. So if this is something that is not kind of like on your radar, it's not your thing, listen, I get it. But for those that are interested in this topic, we have two amazing guests this morning. So thank you. Huge shout out to Grand Finale and Tru King. Thank you so much for being my guest this morning. And so I am actually going to ask for Grand Finale to please request the guest box so we can get rocking and rolling in here. Please know that as we proceed in this show this morning, I'm not going to be able to thank you. The comments are going to be off, so I'm not going to see y'all cutting up. So don't cut up too bad. But we're definitely going to rock and roll this morning. I won't be able to say hello. I won't be able to thank you for the gifts, but I will be totally giving the attention that these men do deserve as they are coming in and having this conversation with me. Grand! Good morning, darling. How are you?
Doing very well. Doing very well. Thank you.
So, Grand, are you
Yes,
at
ma'am.
a bar? That
No,
music
I'm
is
at.
so loud.
I apologize. I'm at Starbucks, so I leave work at 8 o'clock, and normally I would go to the gym. So I was thinking, and I did not consider the music aspect here, but I was thinking, where's the best place I can go, because that's close to something I have to do right after this.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. And this was
Okay.
the best place. I didn't really give
That
much
was the best
consideration to
one.
the. Yeah, I didn't give much consideration to the music. I didn't, because I hear you very clearly, but I don't know how
Okay.
you're receiving.
We're
Yeah.
receiving it because you have your ear pod in. We're receiving all of it coming in, all the music, but we will push through it. So as long as you can hear me clear, like it's at a good level right now. So as long as you can hear me clear and I can hear you clear, I think we're gonna be good. But I
I
want to
can.
jump into it. You can hear me okay? Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
ma'am.
So Grant, talk to me about your experience waiting and dating after 35. Have you found it challenging to adjust to new routines and changes at this stage in your life?
Have I found it challenging to adjust to new routines? No, I haven't seen any challenge in it. I mean, the last time I went on a date was some time ago, but I didn't see any challenge in it. When it comes to dating, it's not something that I've given like great attention to, and like saying I got a date, I got to go out there and meet people. I've never really had a focus. That's never really been like my focus. So I can't really say I've found any challenges in that. No, man.
So have you been in your single space for a long time? So
Oh
does
yes,
it do
yes,
you
yes,
find
yes. Yes, I have been in a single space for some time. The last time I've actually been in a what I would say a legit relationship where it's a committed and was what 2007. Yeah.
since 2007 since you've been in a committed relationship.
Yes.
So how do you deem that, like, especially being, so if you don't mind sharing your age, how old are you, Grant?
I'm 39. My birthday just passed March 2nd.
Okay, so Grant is 39, just celebrated her birthday. Listen, it has been since 2007 since you literally have been in a committed relationship. Do you think that when you are ready to embrace this relationship that you desire, that it's going to be a challenging space for you to kind of like fit into the world of this person that you're entertaining?
Yeah, you know, I've asked myself the question: is being single too long detriment to someone? Is what I've asked because you get so self-absorbed. You are your main focus. So sometimes I wonder like how would that transition? Because I love my time. I love me. Thank you for the roses. I love me, and I enjoy being with myself and being by myself. So I think it would be a challenge to be able to be open to doing things that other people want to do because I'm very selfish with that as well because if I'm not interested in something, I don't really care to be a part of it. I'm the type of person that's a homebody. I'd rather stay home. So, if you're going to be in a relationship, you can't be selfish. Like if you selfish, like if you're self-centered, like that's going to affect much of your relationship. I don't think you're ready for a relationship if you're self-centered.
So how healthy are your expectations when it comes to dating then? Especially
You
being
know,
single for so long. How healthy are your expectations in that space?
I mean, to me, I think it's very healthy. But for others, they may view it as something different. So being in this place, much of why I've been at such a long time in being involved with someone because I very much depended on waiting on God's guidance and direction. And I believe that God has showed me people, but I didn't find those people what I desired for outwardly. So,
Interesting.
yes, I felt like the spiritual connection there, but like outwardly, it wasn't what I desired, and I fought against it. And so much of my being single is I've not committed to anything because I know that most of the people that I've allowed in my life wasn't God's will. It was more like
Wow.
just wanting companionship.
So
So
as a person of faith, you believe that it was not God's will. It was more you just desiring the companionship, maybe loneliness in that space, and you can discern that.
yes, like I mean, I know people have different ideas of what they believe of someone being one that they should be with, but like I usually know like in a very short period of time whether someone is for me or not,
Wow.
and a lot of times I just go along with the situation because of just wanting someone in that space at that time.
Well, okay. So Brandon, how do you feel about online dating? And have you used any dating apps to try to help you in your pursuit of a woman?
I don't think there's any problem with it. It's not something that I put any stock in, as in a sense of believing that should be the route that I would take to find someone. I believe that I don't believe I believe that it can be a good way to find someone, but it's not the route that I personally choose to take. And I've been on
Okay.
Bumble, and I like Bumble. I like the quality of people that's on Bumble
Same.
that
Yeah.
I've connected with on Bumble. But I just realized that I couldn't stay on Bumble because those people looking for something committed. You know, they want something long lasting and committed, and
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna play with their I'm not gonna play with their emotions, anything like that. So I
I
would talk
applaud
to
you for that.
people. Yeah, I would talk to people, and I realized that hey, I can't do this to them. So let me get off this app.
Wow. That's very, very telling that you found yourself to be on the app. I'm not ready for this type of commitment. So let me not use this as a source because I know that these people are looking for something serious. So I applaud you for that. Um, do you find that when it comes to dating and choosing your partner, do you find that your friends and family are they beneficial for you in the space of choosing that person,
Um,
helping you in this process? Could they be beneficial?
not not that I've seen. I mean, I remember one time my grandmother. My father's side is Haitian, and
Okay.
they really big on complexions and hair. So
Oh,
for her, she would say get somebody with long hair, and that's light. She's an older woman. A
I
lot of
understand.
Haitians are like that. And
Yeah.
on my father's side, he kind of berated me one time because there was a young woman I was dating, a Nigerian woman, and he thought she was the world, like she was this, the second coming of Christ or something, in the sense of like how much she had her life together and the different things she had going for her. So he used to like really get on me for like letting her go. The reason why I let her go is because our purposes were not aligned with one another, but he wouldn't understand that. So when you talk to people, you could kind of comprehend where they are level of their understanding about things. So you don't really try to go and try to explain anything to them because you already know from knowing them that they won't comprehend certain concepts and things like
Absolutely.
that. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So that's very telling, Grant. So then, one thing that I'm interested in, this is the last question that I have for you in this session, is how has your past played a role in how you are progressing in your dating right now? Your thought process to dating.
one thing comes to my mind in the sense of if I'm dating someone and I'm strongly interested in them, I won't just speak by my emotions, my feelings. I remember one time I was dating a girl in Japan, and I remember telling this girl I love her, and when later on, as I matured, I realized that I did not love this woman. It was infatuation. So
Okay.
the thing that I do now, that if I do meet someone and I'm feeling something, I don't automatically go off of that feeling. I kind of have a powwow with myself, and I say, hey, you feel love for this person, but why? Because that other person, I could not tell why. All I know is that they were very attractive, they were nice, they were kind. Outside of that, I couldn't tell you anything else. So I tell myself I would not tell that person I love them unless I have asked myself some question. I've been able to answer the why of why I love them.
I
So
love that. I love that
that
accountability.
yeah, that's one thing. And also, like another thing I learned is that if I don't share certain core values, you're wasting your time. You're just going to be wasting your time
Facts.
and their time. So
Facts.
yeah.
Facts. I love that. That's up. So 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 I hear that you're not, you know that your journey is not going to include online dating. But are you in pursuit of that special someone in your life? And that's something that's the focus of you right now in this season of your life? Like, is that your purpose, your intent?
I'm not. I wouldn't say that I would say online dating would not be something that I believe could be possible where I could meet someone. It's just that it wouldn't be what I would say. Like I wouldn't bet on it. I wouldn't bet
I
on it. I'm
got
not
you.
saying it's
Got
impossible.
you.
I
It could
believe
happen, but you're not going to be just
yes.
hardcore. I got you. Okay.
Yeah,
Got you.
yeah. So at this moment in time, I actually am entertaining someone and being entertained, and it's great. It's awesome.
I
It's
love it.
it's, it's a great space at the
I
moment.
love
Yeah.
it. Well, I'm so glad. I'm so glad to hear that. Okay, so Greg, go ahead and exit yourself out the box, and we're gonna keep going. I want to thank you so much for giving energy to this particular session. This was his session. I think he did a phenomenal job in transparency. Yes, and so I think that that is very telling that you can see that on this journey. Some people will take their journey and say that I'm moving in such a space that I have to be very intentional, that I understand that I've done things in my past that was not conducive of me getting to what I want in my future. And so it becomes very telling that his is really like foundational in his faith. Like he's trusting his God process, to be able to say, in his discernment in that space, to be able to say, I can't operate in my flesh. I have to be able to know and connect the dots spiritually. And that's the thing that's huge for me as a woman. So it does become telling for me as a woman in that space that if when I connect with men, if I know that that's something that's an intricate part and they are spiritually sound and grounded, like it becomes very telling for me. So it's very encouraging to hear someone say that. So thank you, Grant, so much for your contribution. I appreciate that. Now, as you guys know, listen, many of you may be in this space, you're waiting and you're dating over 35. And when I tell you, this has been a very interesting space to be in, waiting and dating. So for me, the waiting part comes in knowing and realizing that hands down, I'm waiting for that person that is truly going to be an intricate part of my life. I'm waiting for this person that's going to show up and not necessarily check all the boxes, but for the person that I can truly live with, that is compatible. And when it's all said and done, that I can like them, not just love them, but I can like this person. Like when I actually wake up in the morning, will I be able to like you? And so that becomes a thing. And I believe that when we are in this phase of dating after 35, one of the things that we do experience is that a lot of the times we are encountering people who have gone through divorces. We have widowers, we have people who have been single for long periods of time, and some of that is simply by choice. We have people who are making a decision to maybe they want to start a family and it's later in life. So there's so many different dynamics that comes into play when it comes to dating after 35 that you really like face. But one thing that becomes very telling for me is that many of us that are dating after 35, if you really have sat in the seat of where you are, you find that you have really become wiser. You find that you're observing more. You find that you are in a space to where you really have set in your thoughts, and it's like, you know what, I've gone through a lot in life, and this right here is what I know that I want. And you tend to know what it looks like, and the reality is sometimes you may not can speak to it, but it's like once I met with that energy of that person, I can see it because I know what it in essence feels like to me and how it connects. So on this journey, I think it's a huge component to us while we're waiting and dating. You'll hear me say this: we have got to move away from being comfortable with just virtual reality and ensure that we're getting out and creating experiences. We owe it to ourselves in this space while we're waiting and dating to ensure that we're actually getting out and meeting people and putting these things into practice so that we know that some of the things that we have as ideas in our head and in our heart really make sense. Like we're putting them to work. Like, can you really use those tools or not? And so it's very important for us not to just sit behind virtual reality and have these hopes. But in order for those hopes to become things that are realized, you literally have to put them into practice. And so I encourage each and every one of us to embrace our singleness, to remain content in your singleness, and to step out in faith. Try to have these experiences that you need to create these memories that you need to, so that you can start figuring out who is it that's going to be the greatest fit. But the only way that you're going to know that is by connecting with those energies. So thank you so much again, Grant. I appreciate that. So I'm going to ask for Tru King. Tru King, come on in here, get in this guest box, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Tru King, welcome, welcome, welcome. Guys, listen, these men are great. Make sure you hit them with a fave. They also stream. We want to definitely show them support. And I have them on here because they're definitely capable of holding a conversation with intelligence. So I appreciate you.
No
Welcome,
problem.
True.
How you doing? How you doing?
True. Good morning to you,
Yes.
sir. Thank you so much for being here. So True, I really tried to make sure that with you guys, I was not being invasive all in your life and in your business. But Grant dropped a bomb on me, and he was like, when it's all said and done, I am actually, pursuing somebody interested in with them, and they're doing the same thing with me. It's the reciprocation for me. So for me in this space, I love to be able to hear how you're able to maneuver in your singleness while you've been waiting and dating your progression. Have you experienced that, like, in this space, dating someone, let's say like after divorce, can it complicate things? Like, tell me about your experience, because I know you've been single and you've dated some people. Talk to me about this, and we're gonna lead up to where you are in your process now.
Okay. So, um, I've been divorced. So I was married once upon a time, right? So,
Mhm.
um, there was a lot of sacrifices that I made when I got divorced that I didn't want to include into another relationship, because I wanted to make sure my kids were raised by me, that I was around
Mhm.
for that. I wanted to make sure that those things, the little things that I am responsible for, were taken care of. So I sacrificed any relationships. I didn't deal with any relationships. I didn't even entertain relationships, because until my daughter graduated high school, that was my focus. I realized that what I was in did not work. So I did what I had to do to make sure that my kids were taken care of. Because the last thing I never wanted to hear my daughter tell me was, "Hey, Daddy, where were you? Somebody touched me. Where were you?" So in my head, I couldn't wrap my head around that. So I was like, yo, I have to stay for this purpose. I brought this kid into this world, so I have to do something. So that was my something. I did that. So I didn't deal with relationships. So it wasn't until
Wow.
after that. So I understand I'm also active duty military. I was active duty military,
Yes.
and also I'm an
Thank you
only
for doing
child,
this.
right? So I have what's called that only child syndrome. So I was all right being by myself. I was all
Okay.
right being in my own silence. I was all right
Right.
being in my own peace, because I was fine with that. I recognize that about myself. But what I
Mhm.
will tell you is, after I did all those sacrifices, all those things, for I don't even want to call them sacrifices, because it's what my daughter deserved. It wasn't,
Yeah,
I
she
shouldn't
deserved
say
it.
sacrifice. She deserved it. So that's
Yeah.
what it was. Right. So what I started doing was, um, I started self-reflecting. I try to ask myself, how did I contribute to the demise of this relationship? Because I didn't want to take that into another relationship. So I
Right.
had to make sure that I did a lot of self-reflecting. And I'll be honest with you,
Nice.
when I did my self-reflecting and everything was said and done, I apologized to my ex for the role
Okay.
that I played in the relationship falling
That's
apart.
huge.
So I
That's
apologize for my
huge.
part. So um,
Accountability.
yeah, so I took that on. I took that on, and I rode with it at that point, because it was important for
Nice.
me to understand, and to close that chapter. Right? If I stayed angry that whole time, then I wouldn't have been any good to anybody else further on in a
Going
relationship.
forward.
Right.
That's what's up. I love that. So True, like in this space, because now it's like, being I'm also a divorcee, and you come back and you're single and you're like, what is this? Like, Have you found that like technology, the way technology is, the heavy use of social media, do you find that it leaves like a lot of room for misunderstanding,
Yes and no, right?
confusion?
Because
Okay.
yes and no. I say that because I think that multiple people, men and women, get into the social aspect um, and the social dating for different
Mm-hmm.
reasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, like I'm keeping a buck with y'all, and I know some men in here are gonna be like, ah, you capping right now. No, my my relationship or the person that I'm with, I need to be mentally stability wise, right? Our
Okay.
mentals have to match. I don't care
Okay.
about the physical. The physical will end up coming, right?
Okay.
But it, at the beginning of it all, I need to make sure that you and I can conversate on a mature level, that you and I
Absolutely.
can have
Hands down.
conversation without there being that physical aspect. So there's a
I love
part
it.
to this whole social media and social dating that I enjoy, because another
Okay.
thing that you will find out about a lot of people, because people do this all the time, look at
Mhm.
somebody's Facebook, look at their TikTok, look at their Instagram, look at Twitter. You will find out a lot about a person that you don't
True.
know by
True.
going to their website. So they
True.
might try to put a facade on and try to tell you who they are, but hey, behind the scenes, you can see what type of person they were maybe a month ago, maybe 6 months ago, maybe a year ago. Now you
Hmm.
have to ask yourself, are you still that person? Are you still that person that was twerking in them videos on TikTok?
Right.
Are you still that person? Because I need to know. Because if you're that twerker, I don't want to be with you. Right? Because
Right.
you don't let six
I'm not
million other
twerking no
people.
more.
You don't let 6 million other people see you twerk. I don't want no part
Right.
of that. Right? I'm not into that. So
I
so
agree.
so I believe that it's a blessing and a curse, because you can actually get to learn somebody. You can get
I
to
love that.
actually have a conversation with somebody. You'll be surprised how many times I will go into someone's live and a guy will jump in the box, and the box is only 1 minute. And after 30 seconds, they run out of conversation. They don't
Yep.
know what to say anymore. 30 seconds. That's it.
That's
Oh
it.
no, I can't even deal with you. You can't hold a
It's it. It's
conversation
very
for more than a
telling.
minute. You can't
It's
hold a
very telling.
conversation for more than a minute. You come in my
Very
box and
telling.
you know that you want to say something, but your something lasts 30 seconds. Now I
Yeah.
don't have time for you.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
And we love, and we women, we love engagement. So in that space, so being in the dating pool, obviously you're interested, you're ready, and out here in your pursuit. Do you find that the pool is small, or have you found that like there's people out here, that there's more people that are taken per se? Because like one of my things that I've experienced is like I may encounter people and I end up realizing that they're actually in relationships and are really like married, but they're presenting something different. So then it begins to narrow this dating pool of realities that or they're not even in it for it. Is they're more focused on the casual versus committed. What has
Right.
been your experience in that, as far as the dating pool is concerned?
So I'll tell you what I told a young sailor a long time ago. Um, he came to me with his heart broken because his high school sweetheart broke up with him, and he was from like South Dakota. So he was from
Mm-hmm.
like this small little town, and now he lived in the Virginia area, which was a lot bigger to him, right? So because of that, I said, "Hey, man, you don't understand what you're about to witness. What you saw in your small town of 300 people, maybe 50 females that you were available to date, you're now global, right? So this
Mm.
social thing takes it global.
Exposure.
So the
Mm-hmm.
exposure is crazy. So where you were just in this one little rice bowl, now you have the whole world that you can look at, right?
Wow.
The question is really more so, hey, are you willing to do the work to get to that person on the other side? Whether it's in
Mm.
California, whether it's in Australia, whether it's in
Yeah.
London, are you willing to
Yeah.
put in that work? If you can't put in
Nice.
that work for that person that may be your person,
Making the
then
effort. Yeah.
then 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 I don't. So I can't say that the pool is smaller. What I think is that we have a lot of narcissists out there
And people
that
don't put in the effort.
they don't put in the work, and they also, like you said, put on this facade. Oh, I'm not in a relationship, or I'm not married. until now, okay, it's time to meet up, and everybody's like, well, damn,
Can't do it.
yeah, man, I got to work that week. I forgot my grandmother was coming in town, and she's sick. So can we? Can so there's a whole lot of
Shameful.
excuses, and you will find those things. But the dating pool, I think, is as small or as big as you want it to be.
Gotcha.
You know, depending on where you live and what you're willing to put forth, what effort are you want to put into it? Are you really looking for that special someone, or are you limiting your scope based upon your availability to do other things? Right? If you're not available to make those trips or go to those big areas or those different countries, then I think that you're limiting yourself. I don't limit myself. I don't put limits on
Nice.
myself. I
I like
can't.
that. I
So
like
I,
that.
I have to be willing to go that extra mile because this is my special someone. You understand? My special
Yeah.
someone, I'm gonna
It's
go
out here in
above
the
and beyond
world.
for. Right. I'm gonna go above and beyond for that person. And they gonna know it.
Nice.
They will know that
I love
I
that.
value that about them. You know what I'm saying?
I love
So
that.
yeah.
So we're focused on waiting and dating because it definitely is a process. Have you been able to be wholly, like completely in this dating stage in your life? Have you experienced like unrealistic viewpoints about how you should be as a man? Because we hear a lot of stuff. Do you think that there are some unrealistic viewpoints on how you should be as a man based off of what you're experiencing?
I don't mean to laugh, but
So,
I, I find this question kind of funny because I've talked about it in my live. I go to other lives and I talk about it. And no one can judge me as a man because I know who I
gotcha.
am, right? I
Okay.
will never go into a space and say, I'm an alpha male. That's why you should respect me. Alpha males
Hmm.
don't say that they alpha male. You know what I'm
True.
saying? That is not what
Correct.
they do. When I walk into a room, people know that I'm in the room. I'm 6 foot,
Mhm.
235 pounds. Listen, they will see
So they
me.
gonna
I'm
know.
not worried about it. You know what I'm saying? I am not worried about it all. You know,
Speak,
so
sir. Yes.
I'm not, so I don't have to play that role. So I know who I am. I know what I bring to the table. I know the
Mhm.
things that I can provide and how I can become, an empire with a person. I don't,
Yeah.
I don't, I don't have that issue. So,
Nice.
when I hear women talk or men talk about women or women talk about men and all these different things, I don't include myself in
Nice. I
those
love that.
discrepancies.
I
That
love
ain't
that.
me. I just sit there and I'm like,
So
okay.
okay.
I don't include myself in those
I
discrepancies
love
because that's
that.
not me. There's no need for me to. I just sit there and listen.
Right. So now let's get to a little bit of a meat and potato. Listen. So in this space, waiting and dating, obviously you need to be putting some things into practice. So have you found yourself in a position to where you've maybe connected to someone and have your eyes set on observing and pursuing them? And do you find that with you being your self-sufficient self, okay, that there is room for compromise to help this to be a good relationship or the person that you may be wanting to invite? So whether that is I have my eyes set on someone, let me break that down. Whether it's I know what I want and I'm going after it, or I already have my eyes set on someone, and how are you going to make space for them being the self-sufficient man that you are with compromise?
So, so yes, and yes, right. So I have found myself. So I found myself, you know, talking to someone that matches
Nice.
my energy, right? I
Okay.
will tell you the thing that I avoid the most, and this is what I
Okay.
learned from going forward, all through my self-reflection, is that when I'm in it, I seem to for some reason ignore red flags, right? And for
Mm.
whatever reason, I'm in it, so I ignore red
Mm.
flags. I have now determined that, hey, if I see red flags, I am going ahead and I'm that person is getting skipped. I don't have no time for
Wow.
that. I
Wow.
no. So
Wow.
if you meet, and I wouldn't say my expectations. I'm an organic type of person. So
Mhm.
something just happens. It just flows. Like there's not really, I wouldn't say any effort, because I think we all put effort into relationships. But
In some
I think
capacity.
it just happens. You meet somebody and you talk to that person, and whenever you talk to that person, they smile. You smile. Y'all laughing about dumb shit. Y'all laughing about, just the silliest little things. Y'all got your own little inside jokes. Like that type of stuff, it's just natural. You can't make that up, and you can't force that. If you tried to force
Yeah,
that, there'll be an issue. And I don't like forcing stuff. But I also
I love
understand
it.
that not everything is rainbows and unicorns. So there's a reality
Correct.
to understanding, hey, this high won't always be there. There's going to be a part where things will slow down, right? But as long as you're putting forth the effort, you're good.
Hmm.
You're good,
I love
right?
it. I love it. Well, I'm thanking. Listen, you guys have really given me some nuggets here. I don't know. Go ahead and click that X and exit yourself out of the box. I'm gonna chop it up, but I'm gonna bring you both back very quickly so we can chop it up a little bit more. Listen, if you are interested in being a guest on this show, would love to have you. You see how these men present themselves very well. It is the transparency for us. If you're going to come here, we want to hear your stories, to speak to these topics, but we love, love, love the transparency of these men speaking about their life stories, their opinions based off of their own personal process of going through this. We happen to be talking about waiting and dating. Like, this is so real. Um, Definitely connect with me on IG. You can hit my banner at the top where it says Doc, and you can connect with me to be on the show. You can also email me at windocdocspeaks with an S at gmail.com. And this is for serious inquiries only. I definitely welcome you guys to be a part of this. I'm going to ask both Grand and Tru to come back in. I hope you guys are enjoying what you are hearing thus far. We're talking about waiting and dating, and one of the things that has been very telling listening to these men is that their process has been a journey, but they both have come to a point to where they've made connections. So I want to encourage those that are listening, hello, stay true to your process, because your person, they out there. You just got to put that effort in to find them, and that's real. And let's see, adding. Y'all know I get challenged over here. Okay.
Stay true to your process. Stay true.
Stay true to your process, right?
DJ Tru King.
So I will Graham mute you for the sake of the background noise and unmute you when we're ready to get your response, because we don't want to hear Thriller in the background while he over there moving and dancing. You see him, y'all. So listen, um, I one of the things that I wanted to discuss with both of you gentlemen is that, and this is me as a woman speaking, I believe that you are not ready to date until you are fully aware of both the benefits and the dangers of dating. What are your thoughts about that?
Repeat it one more time. One more time.
I believe that you are not ready to date until you are fully aware of both the benefits and the dangers of dating. What are your thoughts?
I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that, because you have to be careful um, with the unknowns, right? So a lot of people that I talk to, I ask them to read a book called The Gift of Fear. And the reason
Mm,
why I do that is because it tells you that your body has a natural mechanism to sense danger, to sense uncomfortable situations, right? And what we don't do a lot of times, or as we're in relationships or getting involved in relationships, we forget about that natural instinct. We ignore gut feelings. So there's a benefit and there is a danger. So you have to be careful on how you navigate these roads, because you may be ignoring a danger that's going to be detrimental to you later on down the line. And I did that.
Yes.
I was in a situation where I knew things were coming and they were wrong, but for whatever reason, my mental didn't allow me to get away from it. Right.
Wow.
And then
Wow,
it
that's
then
huge.
it backfired and blew up in my face. And then I was like, yo, I'm done. I'm out. So that's what made me leave.
Grand.
Oh yes, ma'am. Yeah, I definitely. I think if you're gonna have success in anything, I believe success. What is it? Being properly informed and knowledgeable precedes success. I believe. Anything that you can think about anybody being successful in, it doesn't necessarily mean you will have success, but knowledge and being properly informed is, I believe, something that must be there if you're going to have success in something. So I definitely agree with you. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So listen, I believe that we,
You want to
and
put me on?
I'm gonna mute you. Yes, I am muting. I believe that we should learn to be an asset. I believe that we should learn to be an asset. And so often we fail to prepare ourselves for our person because we are too busy looking for a person. We're so busy looking that we fail to prepare ourselves. So I just wanted to get your thoughts about that. And I'm gonna go with Grant first, and then I'm gonna go with you, True. Go ahead, Grant.
Yeah. I feel like if you focus on looking, I believe that's distraction. I just believe that what you should be focused on is continually just developing yourself. I believe naturally that you and that person will connect sooner or later. If you are what you're supposed to be, I believe you'll have what you're supposed to have. You'll go where you're supposed to go. You'll accomplish what you're supposed to accomplish. I believe it's primarily on you being. So I definitely don't believe in focusing on looking. So I don't know if I totally answered all of that
You
correct.
did. Yeah, there's
Okay,
no
so
right or
I
wrong
believe if I
answer.
answered,
You
I
did.
mean, not correct, but if I answered your question fully.
You did. You
Okay.
answered it fully. Yes, sir. Go ahead, True.
You know, had to ask me the question again. I was listening
So,
to Grand and I was like, yeah,
oh,
you're right. I was like, yeah, you're
it's
right.
like, yeah, Greg, you're right. What's the
You're
question,
right.
sir?
I was like,
So I said I believe that we should be an asset, right? Often we fail to prepare ourselves for our person because we're too busy looking for our person.
okay. So I just want to be careful with the word asset. And the reason why I
Okay.
say that is that um, assets can be replaced, right? I don't want to put myself in a situation to where I'm replaceable, right? I want somebody to want to be with me, not need to be with me. So
Mhm.
if I'm an asset, then I'm like an accessory. I'm just something that you dangle around and you walk around with
Okay.
and you show me off. I don't want that in my life. So what I want to be is I want to be a team player. I want to be in this together because we can conquer the world together. We can do these things together. So I think that that's the aspect of how I look at relationships. So as I fix myself, I didn't force myself into anything that was unwanted, or if I didn't feel that it was reciprocated. If it's not, then I need to go ahead and move on. That's just not the person for me. And they need to
Nice.
understand that, and I need to understand that. I don't want to force the situation.
Nice. So the next point that I want to make is this. We often, and this is a really key thing for both of you gentlemen. There's I have heard so much of attention with the word friends, right? And I believe that friendship is so important to all relationships. So y'all know me, I'm so analytical and I like to dice things up a little bit and everything. So there's a difference, right? There's a difference between a casual friendship versus an intimate friendship. So I would like to speak to your thoughts and how when you engage into pursuing someone, do you look at it from the differences in casual versus intimate? Because the intimate is the part that gets us to commitment. Casual keeps us in the friend zone. And I think a lot of people, whether it be male or female, when they hear friend, all they hear is the casual side versus the side that says, no, I want to be intimate. I want the commitment. So what is your thought process? I'm gonna let make sure you marinate on that, True, and I'm gonna let Greg go, and then I'm gonna pull you in.
Think
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure True have much to say about that. I mean, not much really came to my mind, but I do know that when we speak friend, we usually speak it from a casual place, and not much of an intimate place. But I honestly don't really have much thought
Okay,
on it.
and that's fair. That's fair. So I'm gonna put you on mute, and I'm gonna give True, and even if he don't have much thought, that's fair because there is no right or wrong. It's a perspective, and it may be something that you can take with you to put it in your process and to think and marinate on it in the future.
so I'm all about running my mouth. So I absolutely have something to say, right? Because we again, I'm very careful with words and how I use them and in the terms that they're being used so people can
Mm-hmm.
understand where I'm coming from, right? So when you use the word intimacy, I think a lot of people take intimacy to mean sex. It does not.
Absolutely.
All right. There is
And
a
it's
there
not.
is a level intimacy that happens because of sex, but that's not it, right?
That's not it.
Like for me, again, I have to be able to connect with you mentally before we even get to the physical, right? A
Mm.
friend is you again, you have to be careful because I can be friends with the person that I'm with. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm their best friend. I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I want my partner to be my best friend." No, I don't want to be your best friend because I don't want you to tell me all the little silly shit that you do. I don't want to know about how you were constipated or whatever. Go tell your other friend that. I don't want to know that.
Hilarious.
I don't want to be part of that. Right? There's certain stuff that women share with women even though they're in a happy committed relationship. I'm good with that, right? I want I want to be
So
part
not
of
that
your
part.
world. Yeah, not that part.
Gotcha.
I want to be part of your world. I don't want to be your world. There's a difference, right? So we have to be part of each other's world. We have to be part
Thanks.
of figuring this thing out. So I there's I think that it's how you deliver a message on whether someone is your friend or whether you're moving on
The
to do
delivery.
something else with a friend. Like if you're going
Yeah.
past that friendship stage, I, I'm not very hip on like trying to title certain things, right? It just doesn't
Okay.
make sense. If I'm with you, you know that I'm with you, right?
So if you're with someone, and I'll
Yes.
ask this question to both of you men.
Hmm.
If a woman is with you, because here's the thing, we as women like men to be decisive.
Absolutely.
So we can respect that you don't want to title a thing, but are you able to express to that woman so that it is very clear and understood where her position and her role is in your life? Huh?
Absolutely. Listen. I, that so I want to just go back a little bit. When I say titles, I'm talking about the friendship title and whatever. My girl is my girl. She knows that. I call her my girl. She understands that, right?
Okay.
She understands what I'm there for and what I do.
Okay.
She gets it. So when I say titles, I don't necessarily mean title of like a boyfriend,
For that.
girlfriend, or
Gotcha.
husband and wife type of thing. I mean as far as, hey, you're my friend. Why do I have to go around telling people that Doc is my friend or that Grand is my friend? We're
Hmm.
friends. I don't need to tell nobody that.
You can
So
just see based off of the connection, is what you're saying.
absolutely right. That
Okay.
they know
That's
that,
fair.
right? And they
That's
know
fair.
no and people that know us know, hey, there's no funny business going on with
Correct.
True and Doc or with Regal or
Correct.
Smurfy. They understand that hey,
That we're friends, and it
we're
was
friends.
understood doesn't need to be said.
There you go. That
Right?
part.
There we go.
That part.
Okay,
There
Greg.
you go.
Get in here, Greg.
So the question is titles, important of titles.
So the question is about friendship being important to relationship and your perspective on that. But he just
Oh
went
yeah,
into titles.
Okay, yeah. So friendship, I definitely see it as being important, and because friendship involves a certain closeness. The closer you are to a person, the more you share with a person. I personally desire to be someone that partner could share whatever's on their heart and mind. You
That
know,
vulnerability.
yeah, the vulnerability. I believe, when the closer the friendship is going to be more vulnerable, more transparency, and there's a safe. Like I've heard this before, that you make me feel safe. And I believe that the closer you are, the more you get to know someone, that that comes alive and that comes about. So yeah, I definitely believe being a friend is important. And one of the greatest descriptions I ever seen of that was between David and Jonathan in the scriptures of the closeness. But that was
Facts.
speaking of a deep level of intimacy, which many people never really achieve.
Because that's the thing. It does, and it is levels to it. Okay. So, and I hope that you can get. And we literally, I have one more point that I want to make, and then we'll be done here. And this last point that I wanted to make is, I believe the key to finding the right mate is to first identify the qualities in the character that will hold as standards without compromise. I need to know whoever I'm dealing with, I need to know what their qualities are as a person and what their character is as a person, because those things will hold true. So in that space, based on both of you, your journey, um, what are your thoughts behind when you're pursuing a woman? How do you view the qualities in the character as a part of your process? Do you want Grand to go first?
First.
First again, I can go. I can go.
You
Sure.
in there?
Um, Well, I believe, the person, when you ask questions, a person is going to reveal, and share certain things with you. I believe that it's good to be in certain environments and allowing for certain circumstances to happen, kind of experiencing life together, because as you experience life, situations, and circumstances, the character of that person will be truly revealed. Anybody that presents themselves is always going to seek to present themselves in the most favorable view and way. But and this is I know this. I probably get tomatoes thrown at me, but I've seen the most kindest and sweetest people become Jekyll and Hyde behind the wheel.
Facts.
Behind the wheel.
Facts.
So you are not who you are in the good times. You are who you are in the tough times. So that's who you. That's your character, because your character is really revealed when you're squeezed. You know what's in something when it's squeezed, as they said before. So I personally would desire to see people in circumstances, and not only the happy times. They say it is the worst time to make a decision to commit with someone in a sense of marriage is during, if you would look at it from a seasonal aspect, is in the summer and the spring. No, you need this. I believe you need to see those people, because a lot of people, they don't see that until they get deep, 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 and then they realize, if I knew this before, I wouldn't have gotten this deep with you. And we know that no one is perfect, but there's certain things that you would have not put up with if you would have seen that some time ago.
In a
But
different light.
sometimes, yeah. But to me, prayer is a big thing. I believe, if I'm praying about the situation, these things will be exposed to me very early.
Gotcha. Because of
Circumstances will
discernment.
come to play. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, thank you. Go ahead, True.
So along the lines of what Brand was saying, as you're talking to someone, you're getting to know that person, and you're getting to see if that person is a match to what you are. So there, the compromise is what that you guys are right for each other, right? But to add on to that, I I I apply realistic, real world pressures to people that they don't even know what's happening. Why?
Wow.
Because I
Okay.
want to see how they react in those situations. Because, like Graham was
Mm-hmm.
saying, right? When you're in the good spot, you great. But when you're in that bad spot, how do you really act, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
not a yeller,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't yell. I don't argue. That's just not in my nature. And it
Right.
took me
Right.
time to learn that. So if you're a yeller or you're a screamer or you like to argue, then you're not my person. So I will apply unnecessary pressure to certain things so you
Yeah.
know that that's happening. Then You might, and it's not me picking a fight. So I don't want anybody to think that it's not me picking a fight, but there's pressure that I will add just because I want to see if you're the person who you say you really are, right?
Perfect.
I don't,
That's amazing.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
how I go about it.
that's
So
what's
yeah,
up.
I agree with you.
So that's the last of what I got, what I have for you guys. I want for you to introduce yourself one more time and let them know when you stream, just the general idea. And when you're done, you can go ahead and exit the box, and then I'll close out our stream of his safe space, our hour today.
I'm sporadic with my streaming. Obviously, I'm true. I normally DJ, like play music and talk on Sunday evenings, but I try to turn up sometimes during the week. But like I'm on travel right now, out of town working, so I don't go live when I'm traveling at all. So it's
Gotcha.
kind of hard to pinpoint that sometimes. But I'm trying to go live like a Thursday, Friday to get turned up, like
For the
Friday night
weekend.
playing some music for the weekend,
Okay.
that type of stuff.
Perfect. Thank
Yes.
you. And you can hit that X button and exit out. Thank you so much for your contribution today. I know everybody enjoyed it, enjoyed it, enjoyed it. Rayanne, talk to us. Introduce yourself one last time and tell people when you're streaming what you got going on.
Yeah, on the app I go by the name Grand Finale. I'm sort of like true sporadic. The only time I really have been streaming is 10 minutes when I'm on my on the cardio for warm up, and 10 minutes on the cardio when I'm cooling down. And that's when I'm in the gym, which is at least 3 to 5 times a week. And
Wow.
another time when I stream is times like this. Like I streamed a little bit before I came on with you because I was buying time. So
Okay.
I stream in times of convenience, but it's usually no
For
more than
you.
10, 15 minutes. Yeah. But I would like to get to a place again where I can stream like a regular basis. But right now, I'm not in that season.
Okay. That's awesome. Well, go ahead, Gran, and hit that X button and exit yourself out. Thank you so much, Gran. You know I appreciate you, my love. I
Thank you. Thank
appreciate you
you.
so
Love you,
much.
Doc. Appreciate you
I
for the
love
opportunity. Thank you.
you. Yes, I love you so much. Listen, guys. Um, listen. Okay, these men have taught me some things today. I love it here. I love it here. And I want to thank both True and Graham for coming to be a part of this conversation and being willing to share. It is very, very telling because as women, and I only speak from this space, you know, as a woman, it's like I understand what my process is waiting and dating in this single space, but I love to be able to hear from men because I know that they're having an experience. And I'll share a little bit of my story. I was talking to my mother, and my mother is a huge accountability partner for me. And we were just talking about me getting back out, going back through the vetting process, dating again. And I have this thing where I'm like, oh, am I going? Am I going? So in that space, what I'm finding is that I have to have grace in this space, in this space while I'm waiting and dating. I have to understand that just like I'm having these tensions and I'm feeling a particular way, that I am going to connect with some men that are going through some things just like I am. And they're just looking for some special, genuine connection that sets it apart, you know, for them. And we're having similar experiences, and we need to develop patience with each other in this space. I want to encourage everyone because I keep hearing about these timelines. And if you were a part of the stream earlier this morning, sure, we're waiting and dating. But one thing that I can tell you is that while we're waiting and dating, that don't be so quick to apply a timeline to your process because you may end up missing out on something really, really great. Love is easy. It is not supposed to be defined with boundaries. And it becomes very telling when people put it in a box like that. So definitely open yourself up, um, and be vulnerable in those spaces. But please make sure that you are moving in grace and patience with the process, because just like you are having these crazy experiences and like what is going on here, there are some amazing people who are out here, men and women, that are looking for an opportunity that's having the same experience that you are. So please take that into consideration. Listen, this is his safe space, guys. We rock it out for 1 hour. If you are interested in being a guest on this show, you may click on that banner at the top, request to follow me, and inbox me through IG. You can also email me at windocspeaks@gmail.com to be a guest on this show. And you can see how this format goes. It's for 1 hour of power. I am going to open up the guest box now to allow for people to come in. I thank everybody for being a part of this. Again, I've already shared that his safe space is not a place where we have to agree or disagree. This is the space where we come to learn and to grow. And it's just that simple. It's a learning environment. So I thank you guys for being a part of this learning environment and also creating the learning environment so that we can bring this together. So I am going to now open up